Hello guys, welcome to the Tech Architect. You are watching Azure Fundamental video series and today's topic is Azure Compute Options. In this video, we will learn about the identify compute options in Azure and select compute options that are appropriate for your business. So first of all, what is Azure Compute? It is an on-demand computing service for running cloud-based applications. It provides computing resources as multi-core processor via virtual machines and containers. It also provides serverless computing to run apps without requiring infrastructure setup. There are four common techniques for performing compute in Azure. First one is virtual machines. Virtual machines are the emulations of the physical computers and include a virtual processor, memory storage, and networking resources. It has an operating system and you are able to install and run the software just like a physical computer. The next thing is the containers. Containers are the virtualization environment for running applications like VM run on top of the host operating system but don't include an operating system. Instead, containers bundle the libraries and components needed to run applications and use existing host OS running the container. The next thing is app service. The app service is a PaaS, platform as a service, offering in Azure that is designed to host enterprise grade web oriented applications. You can meet rigorous performance, scalability, security and compliance requirements. The next thing is serverless computing. It is cloud based hosted execution environment that runs your code but completely abstracts the underlying hosting environment. It creates an instance of a service and you add your code. No infrastructure configuration is maintenance required. The next thing is which computing strategy is right for me. Which computing strategy? Basically, no need to take an all or nothing approach when choosing a cloud computing strategy. Each provide benefits as well as trade-offs against other options. Uh, Difference between the VM, containers and serverless computing. If we start from the bottom, virtual machines, container and serverless, all these needs of physical hardware in it and also the host operating system. These are the common basically in all these services. But in virtual machine, if we see on host operating system, there includes a hypervisor controller, and in that hypervisor controller there installed VMs, virtual machines with on with a guest OS and using the physical hardware as a virtual machine's physical hardware. But in the container, you need a container engine which runs the apps and in the container 1, 2, 3 and as many as you can. In serverless computing, there is involved serverless runtime that calls the function and process the your command. So the next thing is the Azure Compute option. We will explore in the Azure virtual machines in detail here in this video in this topic. And first of all, provide the IaaS. VM provides the IaaS in the form of virtualized server like a physical computer. Like you have a total control over the operating system and you have the ability to run the custom software and you also use the custom hosting configurations. It also has a flexibility of the virtualization basically without having to buy and maintain the physical hardware or run the VM. Maintenance of VM. You need to maintain the VM, that is the configure, update and maintenance of the software. So, when to use the virtual machines? During the testing and development, VMs provide a quick and easy way to create different OS and application configurations. Running applications in the cloud. The ability to run certain applications in a public cloud as opposed to certain traditional infrastructure to run them can provide substantial economic benefits. An organization can extend the capability of its own premises network by creating a virtual network in Azure and adding VMs to that virtual network. As with running certain types of application in the cloud and, and extending an on-prem network to the cloud, you can get significant cost savings by using an IaaS based approach to the disaster recovery. The next thing is scaling VMs in Azure. You can group VMs together to put high availability and scalability and redundancy. Availability sets. It is logical grouping of two or more VMs that help keep your applications available during the planned or unplanned maintenance. A planned maintenance event is when the underlying Azure fabric that hosts is updated by Microsoft. It is done to patch security vulnerabilities, improve performance, and add or update features. Most of the time, these updates are done without any impact to guest VMs. Unplanned maintenance. Unplanned maintenance events involve a hardware failure in the data center, such as power outage or disk failure. VMs that are part of an availability set automatically switch to working physical server so the VM continue to run. With an availability set, you get up to 3 fault domains that each have a server rack with a dedicated power and network resources. You have 5 logical update domains which then can be increased to maximum of 20 VMs. 20 logical update domains basically. So your compute option, we are exploring the VM. If you see in the diagram, you have the two fault domains and VMs. Basically your VMs are then sequentially placed across the fault domains and update domains. You can see in the diagram. The diagram shows as an example. Let's see, where you have a 6 VMs: VM1, VM2, VM3, VM4, and VM5. VM4, 5, and 6. So 6 VM in an availability set distributed across the 2 fault domains and 5 update domains. 2 fault domains and 5 update domains. There is no cost for an availability set. You only pay for VMs within the availability set. We highly recommend that you place each workload in an availability set to avoid having a single point of failure in your VM architecture. Basically, this is a single it is a technique to avoid the single point of failure of the VM. So the next thing is the virtual machine scale set. What is the virtual machine scale set? Virtual machine scale set is a group of identical load balanced VMs. It allows you centrally manage, configure, and update a large number of VMs in minutes to provide highly available applications. The number of VMs instances can automatically increase or decrease in response to demand or a defined schedule. You can build large scale service for areas such as compute, big data, and container workload. What is Azure Batch? Azure Batch enables a large scale job scheduling and compute management with the ability to scale to tens, hundreds, or thousands of the VMs, and starts a pool of compute VMs for you then install applications and staging data, and runs the job with as many as tasks you have, and identifies the failures and requeues the work and scales down the pool as work completes. So in my next video is already around 10 minutes long, and I will start the containers and the other compute options in my next video. Thank you. Bye for now.